Moi? Let's see. Can everyone hear me? Hello? I see I got some people already in the chat already. Okay. So, this may surprise some of you that I've actually never worked with BGP like in person before. So, that's what I'm doing today. So maybe I can just open Notepad over here. That's probably the easiest. Ooh, it's in dark mode. We'll switch over here to the monitor. And turn on that one. Yeah, there we go. That's what I like. Okay, so goals for today. So let's set a font that's gigantic, like so we want to do BGP. My goal is to just do like basic BGP, so like I'm not doing like eBGP and VXLAN or stuff like that. So I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna do V6 only peerings. Seems pretty simple to me. And share IPv4 and IPv6 routes. Firmware I have today to play with is I have 7.22, I think, or 2.1. And Alpine or Debian plus FRR. Yeah, just play with it. So this is sort of what I want to set up today. So as you may have been following along, I've kind of been like setting up my own ISP with the GPON video. I've got some more videos that I want to play with, like how ISP networks operate. I feel like a lot more of the home lab space focuses on like enterprise networks, which are a bit different in how they're designed. Surprised I'm using Windows. This is my editing computer, and this is the only computer I have that uses Windows. And it uses Windows because of DaVinci Resolve, and also, more importantly, because of the Valve Index. So this is why I use Windows, is for virtual reality gaming, pretty much. But this computer is not going to Finland, at least not this trip. So that means I will have to find a new distro, or continue using Windows, I guess, in Finland. Okay. So first thing I want to try is I like using Mikrotik RouterOS. I know some people have opinions on that. I've not entirely enjoyed FRR in the past. So FRR has this like VTYSH console that kind of irritates me because it's not Linux-like at all. It's like they're taking like a Cisco-style CLI and implementing it on Linux instead of doing something like native Linux. I think GoBGP has a much better CLI. Like when I use a CLI on Linux, I expect it to be like bash commands that I run. I don't expect to jump into a different terminal where the rules of the terminal have changed. If that makes sense. Maybe I'll have direct peering with my ISP. So currently in Finland, I have cable, but if we get fiber, I would definitely talk to the ISP about doing peering, at least on the V6 side. So, yeah, so we'll go back to... So my test setup that I'm going to try to set up today is... Okay, so this is kind of what I want to try setting up today, mostly because the filter stuff is weird. Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. So I want to try setting up like an ISP style network, which uses iBGP pretty significantly. So I need to set up some routers, and they need to route their loopbacks to each other, either statically or via OSPF. OSPF is honestly easier for me than static routes. I don't know why people do static routes anymore. So then I'm going to have them full mesh with each other so they can exchange their routes. Then we will migrate to doing route reflectors. So then we have some route servers somewhere in our architecture that everyone peers with, and they all reflect. And then eventually I want to have one of them do like my transit, so it's going to do full table. And that's going to be like, we'll see if we get there. So this is what I'm planning on setting up in this video. Yeah, OSPF is great. I know there's a lot of hate on OSPF versus ISIS. I don't see really any reason to use ISIS over OSPF v3. At least for IPv4 and IPv6. I know ISIS can do other address families as well. But you just have all the complexity of dealing with the OSI addressing and all that crap that you don't have in OSPF v3. So, in the functionality, they're both running Dijkstra's algorithm. They're both doing essentially the same thing. We're realistically running all of them with a single area anyway, so the area scaling changes with ISIS and OSPF don't really impact anything. So, yeah. So that's my setup today. Yes, I have watched most of NetworkBerg's videos in the last couple months. So here's what I got to play with. I got Proxmox VE, and I've got a whole bunch of templates here. So I got Mikrotik, Alpine, Debian 13, and that's what we're going to be creating. So I'm going to start with a VM, probably just 2 of them. I need some naming scheme for my router. That's core 1. I don't know. Yeah, I'll call core 1. Let's create 2 of these guys. There's net core 1. And even if RAM to do BGP, how much does it default to? 1 gig, that's probably fine. Yeah, you actually don't do CloudInit, so you don't need a CloudInit drive. I think that should work. Let's see if this comes up before I create more clones. Yeah, looks like it came up. Ah! So I got 2 monitors here. Sometimes stuff happens on the wrong one. We need neighbors. You're not either one of these. Oh, you're not on a network. Yes, of course. So basically the way I have to do networking today is like each point-to-point link is going to get a VLAN tag on Proxmox. So maybe I'll draw a quick diagram for you guys here. In dark mode, so we'll have core 1 and 2. And this link between them is actually just going to be a VLAN, unused VLAN on my Proxmox host, so we'll call this VLAN 100. I don't use numbers that high, so... And then each of these is going to need an interface to Winbox, so we'll put that on VLAN 10 to Winbox. Okay, so you're going to be on VLAN 10. And we go back to Winbox. Have you found it? Yes, you have. So we're going to connect... I think you're admin nothing, right? Yeah. You're going to make me change the password, aren't you? Nope. Identity. Okay, now you're core 1. So now that you're core 1, I can create another one by cloning you to core 2. No, I'm just going to clone the template again, actually. Clone 2, full clone. Core 2 needs to get rid of cloud in it. Get on VLAN 10. Another network device. You're going to be on bridge VLAN 100. And you also need another network device. Network device. Bridge 100. Do I have to reboot you to add that? I actually don't know. Let's see what Winbox says. No, I got Ether 1. It just hot plugged. Nice. So Ether 1 now is my regular LAN. I'm just adding LAN to all of these as my sort of out-of-band network, so I can do Winbox. Maybe eventually I'll get rid of that, but so Ether 2 is my simulated point-to-point link. So if I come into this, this is Ether 2. And this one should also be Ether 2. And then this would be Ether 1. And it's going up to... So I guess we'll pretend like this is my out-of-band network up here. Oh, nope, we're not going to save yet. So I need to give you an address. Do I need to give you an address? I actually don't. I can just use... I need to give you a loopback address. So on interface low will be 2001 GB8 colon... What do we want to use for my loopbacks? Do colon 100. Yeah, let's try that. It's 128. Nope, no UI64, sorry. Advertise either. Use advertise as no. There we go. Okay. So now you have IP. Where's new Winbox? New Winbox. And how about Netcore? Netcore 2 go? Oh, I didn't start it yet. Oops. Thing boots like crazy fast, so let's see how long it takes to come up here in Winbox. There we go. I'm going to give you a name. Core 2. We have to give you an address. You're going to be 101. Okay, so now we need to establish OSPF adjacencies here. That is in routing, OSPF, instance, version 3. Oh, BFT, yeah. Main. I think that's what I have to do. Interface says interface templates. Area Ether 2. Type is sure broadcast is fine. Do I have to create an area first? Areas. Yes, I do. Okay, you are on Ether 2. Okay, so now on the other one, which one am I on now? I am on Netcore 2. So let's switch back to Netcore 1. Routing, OSPF, instances, version 3. Areas, new. Interface templates. On Ether 2, area 1. Okay, neighbors. Have you found each other yet? Yes. So you're 6FDA. Which is not this one. Okay, so you found each other. Routes. Make you redistribute. You're waiting. Redistribute. Seem right. Try that. Redistribute connected static. There we go. Okay, so now we have adjacency formed over our link locals. To add an interface to the loopback address. There is now a loopback device. Where is add an interface to the loopback address? Oh, I see what you mean. You want me to add, instead of redistribute, you want me to do interface template low. I see. Actually, I could remove that and I could add it here. Well, then it redistributed. Oh, yeah. Also make it passive. You're right. That means I gotta remove you from here and make you low and area and passive. Okay. Now switching over to this one, doing the same thing. Routing OSPF. Low, passive. And instances redistribute. Okay, so somehow we ended up with a loopback route from... Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'd rather not have that, but okay. So now these guys have adjacency, so now I should probably open the Mikrotik guide. See, I need like some test systems, don't I? I'll make some test systems. Back here, make a new container. Client 1. Debian 13. Do Alpine. Do Debian. You're going to be on 101. So here, updating my diagram, what's going on. We got a laptop, client 1. It's going to link here via VLAN 101, which will be on interface 3. So I'm back here. I now have client core 1 needs a new network device. And you're going to be on 101. And that put client 1 also there. Okay, so now I'm back to Winbox. Which one? Core 1. Okay, so I got the new interface up. We're going to make an address on it. $100. Interface Ether 3, advertise EUI64, and go. Okay, so now you should be advertising 2001 DB80101 on link, because I think the ndconfig by default should do that. So I pop over to the, oh, nope. This one. We log in as a client. I forget the password already. Okay, so you got address there, and you're going to be 101. So then we'll make another client. 2. And it's again going to be Debian. With like no resources, PM102. Okay. So that's coming up. Going back to my example drawing. Oops. Now I have client 2. Who's going to be connected here over VLAN 102. And this is a link subnet of, and this one is going to be 102. This one's going to be LA only. Oops, okay, so that's what the setup is now. Everyone following? Probably not. So where did client 2 go? There's client 2, start you up. Switch to the other Winbox. We're going to add 2001 DB80112 64 interface. Oops, I got to add it in Proxmox first. Ether 3, EUI64, go. So now switching back to Proxmox. Client 2 should have an IP. No, this is draw.io. I use it for like a ton of my videos. You have not got an address yet. What's wrong with you? You're on 102. You're on 102. Why is that one not advertising? So over here, set to advertise. Winbox is the GUI to configure RouterOS. So this is sort of like the GUI for the routers. So this is the GUI for, in this case, NetCore 2. And then the other Winbox, this one's the GUI for NetCore 1. So I guess I just have to clarify which router I'm working on, but this is when I'm working on a router. This is the GUI. So this one is still not NetCore 1. So NetCore 2 should be advertising interfaces. And maybe take you down and back up again. Let's see how that works. So, like this is the reference diagram. So these are my two routers. So these are going to be managed in Winbox. And these two clients are both just basic Linux systems that are just virtual machines. So I'm trying to get it right now so that each of them has their own subnet. This has no interface, so I want BGP to share the routes between these two routers. I'm just kind of setting up the whole test environment. So did you still haven't found... Oh, did I not set your networking right? Let's go back here. What did I set you to? No, you're set to Slack. Reboot. You're set to Slack. You're set to 102. Yeah, maybe I should just reboot them. Proxmox firewall is not configured, so I have it globally disabled right now. So the checking firewall won't change anything. Yeah, we'll just reboot Winbox. We reboot system. Reboot. Yeah, I'll reboot this one too for good measure. And we're back. That was the fastest reboot ever. Why your Winbox 6 so much better? This is Winbox v4. I don't know if it's out of beta, but it's been in beta for like 6 or 8 months now. And it looks way better than old Winbox. Still in beta, okay. I've been using new Winbox like since the very beginning. It's amazing how much better it is than old Winbox. Even if it's the exact same, it just looks better. Let's see if these guys have figured themselves out yet. To console. No, okay, so that was not my issue. So you're advertising this prefix to Ether3, 2001 dB at 0102. On Ether3. Yeah, Winbox, old Winbox looks like 97, doesn't it? It's true. What am I doing wrong here? Oh no, I'm fine now, okay. Oh yeah, the beta's great for Winbox. So they have native versions now of Winbox for Mac OS, Linux. They always had Windows, but no more like officially supported under... I guess they were officially supported under Wine before, but they must have been using like the Windows XP API or something. Okay, so we got our systems up. So now I want to route these routes. I want to share these over BGP. So coming back to this, I want to set up, grab the big arrow. It's a good color. Orange. Thick. So I set BGP here. It's going to go from loopback to loopback. Yeah, I think the CLI is nice too. I just like the GUI for, especially for learning stuff. If you're automating stuff, the CLI is where you want to go, obviously, but just having the options in the GUI to show me what's possible is handy, I find. I'm not sure if Winbox 4 has styles. It does have dark mode. So this is light mode. And then I use dark mode, obviously. Okay, so I think over here I was opening the BGP documentation. Gateway protocol. Connection menu. So to add instance and add connection. Okay. Routing, BGP, instance, main, routing table, main, router ID. I think we're calling these guys 100 and 101. Is that what we've been doing? AS number. What are the private AS numbers? Private AS numbers. 64512. Okay, so I guess 64512 will be my AS. Then you need a connection, which is going to go to I'm on core 2. Oh shit. You're supposed to be 102. Today I'm doing iBGP. So if I go back to this is my goal, I'm trying to set up like an ISP style network. So this would be like routing between different nodes in my one autonomous system. So I'm going to pretend like my ASN is 64512 and do iBGP across my different routers in my core. Yeah, router ID is not an IP address. It's just using dot decimal. And it's actually just a 32-bit number. So yeah, you are actually 101. 102. It would be easier if you were 102. I should probably make you. And then you're going to connect to port 1. Node address 2001 BB8 101. Okay, so I should just be able to do the same thing on the other side. So over here, we'll make you 101 because that makes it easier for me to track. Get rid of all these guys. Routing BGP instance. What I call you on the other side just for consistency? Main. Okay, main. Routing table main. Router ID 1 AS 64512. And you are connecting to 2. Your address is 2001 BB8 102. Let's see if that will come up. It looks like it came up. Okay. So I don't have to add any more specific. I know there's a lot of things I could add here, but our session has come up. So next up, oh yeah, I probably should make this a template. We're doing IP and IP6. Allowing, we're not going to do multi-hop just yet. Routing table main. What's the reserved AS value? I'm going to put an AS value in. Attributes. Next 4512. There we go. Connections. You are going to be part of template ISP. Other side. Templates ISP. 4512. IP6. Redistribute. Connected. I'm not sure if that's actually what I want, but we're going to start with that. So IPv6 routes. Yeah, so this is, oh, yep, we got them. So we got, what is the difference between these guys? Oh, it redistributed the loopback. Yeah, I see that. So I don't want that one to go over BGP. Redistribute. Time for docs. Sessions, templates. Yeah, I could create a filter. Okay, routing filter rule. What I really want to configure is which of these get redistributed instead of redistributing all. Yeah, so that comes over, that one came over OSPF. BGP was smart enough not to do that one. RD is for EVP and stuff. Winbox is much faster than the web interface, basically. Also have these cool like windows here we can move around. Do I need a separate table for my loopback routes? Is that the best approach here? Okay, yeah, I know like FRR you specify what interfaces you want to redistribute from. Routing, filters, new, filter wizard. Go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Set this here. Actually, I'll set this one. Okay, I'm back. Let's see, were we on this one? Yeah, we were in this camera. Okay, we want to reject when it matches. We want to reject when it matches interface. Protocol gateway. Let's see if it lets me do that. I'm just going to reject prefixes that are 28 long. See how that works. Do I have a rule? Filter wizard. So reject if prefix length is 28. What did the... yeah, there we go. Okay. So that'll get rid of my loopbacks. Copy you? I could export you, I guess. Thinking, what's the easiest way to get from to another? Yeah. Just copy this whole thing. You have to apply the chain to the BGP instance. Okay. Instance. I want that as output filter, not input filter. Yes, okay. So now let's go to the other router and do the same thing. Okay, so routing, BGP, template, you're going to get output filter of the chain. Okay, so now my extra routes have dropped off. But am I pulling in? I'm not pulling in. So that's by Ether 3. That's a 128 via OSPF. Oh, it means OSPF, right? Yeah. Connected. Do I need like a default rule in the chain? Sessions. Yeah, I could create an OSPF filter to not distribute one as well. There we go. Okay, so I need a default accept rule. routing filters, filter wizard, the chain, accept. Probably should rename that chain from the chain to something else. Call this rename it. Oh well, it's the chain. So now I should be getting routes. Nope, not ND pool. Okay, so I got my route via 101 to this prefix. Yes, the chain. So I guess now I should be able to ping across, I think. Let's see how that works. If I come over here to Proxmox, and I pull up my two clients. Okay, so there's one client and there is the other. I'll just copy your address over here. Oh no. Stop it. Nope. Copy, paste. Yeah, there we go. Do the same thing with traceroute. Typing IP addr was inefficient. Yeah, you can type IPA. A lot of the things can be abbreviated. You can type like IPL also, the R. Let's see. So I'm getting here a 101 address, here a 102 address. Yeah, so 2001 DB8. So 2001 DB8, I'll just type it out here in my console. I'll type in the big one. So it's reserved for documentation. So it's a address in the valid range. It's not like a local address or something. Another option we have is to use FC00.7 or 3FFD BFFF/20. Those are the other options we have. So I'm using 2001 DB8. It is reserved for documentation. It will never appear on the internet, but it is within the range of addresses that should appear on the internet. Oh, I should probably talk about my address plan too. Maybe I'll do that here. So I'm saying I'm going to use 2001 DB8. I have then allocated. So that means 2001 DB8 00. So that means every address in this range, 2001 DB8 00, is going to be a 128 route. So that's probably going to be a loopback or like a DNS server or something. So then starting from 100 and above are my we'll say 1000. We're going to assign these guys to customers. Hypothetically, if we had customers. Yeah, so 2001 DB8 will never appear on the internet, and it should be blocked by everything on the internet. But it's within the range of addresses that should appear on the internet. So filters that filter out like local addresses should not filter out this, because it should be an internet valid address. Okay, so we're going to my router, and then going to the other router, and then the destination. Okay, makes sense. That looks pretty happy. So I guess it's working, right? So now I want to give these guys, think of how I should give them internet access. Well, I guess we don't need internet. So go back to the drawing. So we got this BGP route set up, and we're now sharing these two routes. So I guess the next thing I should do is create like a pool of yeah, so I don't know if you know this, there's actually NAT66. I actually have NAT66 set up on OpenSense, and what it does is anytime it hits an address that is not a part of my assigned prefix, it NATs it, so that I can do stuff like this and it will work. There's actually documentation addresses in v4 as well. They are 203.0.113.0, 192.0.2.0, and ooh, what's the third one? I don't remember the third one. I can look it up. Then there's also 192.0.0.0/29. Should routers use hello to respond to ICMP? They don't have to. They're allowed to use any interface they want. I could see if I could force it to. That's a good idea. I don't know where I'd even configure that. Who's messaging me on Discord? Okay. Yes, there are some documentation addresses in v4 as well, and just like 2001 DB8, we've agreed not to use them on the internet. Yeah, so I could use MPT as well, but NAT66 is just easier for a test setup like this. When I'm using 2001 DB8 and prefixes I don't own, and also these are all larger than my allocation. So if I used NPT, I would need to have no more than like 8 64s worth of address space that I'm going to translate. But if I use NPT, I can translate the whole /32. Or if I use NAT66, I could translate the entire /32 of my fictional ISP setup without having to get a prefix from RIPE. Although I probably should get a prefix from RIPE. Okay, so this is set up here. So now the next goal, I guess, would be to get a... so these guys are speaking to each other and they're happy. Now I'm going to set up DHCP-v6 PD. So that client here can get addresses from a pool. Yeah, I don't use NAT66 normally. I only use it for test setups like this, where I'm using more address space than I have for my upstream. So like here I'm using a /40 worth of space to do this whole setup, and I don't have that kind of space from my upstream. Okay, so we're going to arbitrarily pick a router here, and we're going to set up DHCP server. We need a pool first. So we're going to use pool, we're going to call it... It's going to be 2001 DB8 1:1:/48. If its length will be 56, so I can have 256 clients. Now if I go to DHCP server, We're going to call it, it's going to be on Ether 3 pool 4, it's going to be PD pool. I need an address pool too, don't I? Where did I put pool? Pool. Zero 101 slash 64 prefix 128. Address pool. Address pool, least time 3 days, sure. Let's see how this works. Okay, so I now have a DHCP server running on my downstream. So back to my drawing. So this is my router. This is Ether 3. I have clients on this VLAN, and I'd like them to be able to get prefixes over DHCP v6 PD. And I'd like those to get reflected back into BGP. I really just want the whole pool to get reflected back, I guess. Maybe I just need to make a loopback route to myself for that, or a black hole route, actually. So should I create a... My pool prefix is 2001 DB8 101 :/48. I should probably create a black hole route on myself to this prefix to myself here that gets advertised over BGP. And then more specific routes, which will be the more specific clients. Let's say 100:/56. So then I won't be advertising my individual 56s. I'll just advertise my 48 pool over BGP. That's what I'm going to do. Let's go here and let's create a IPv6 route. It's going to be static. It is going to be black hole and 2001 DB8 101:/48. There we go. Now you should get kicked into BGP because BGP should be... Is BGP advertising static routes? It should. Okay, so now the other router should have my 48. It does not. Why does it not? What have I done wrong? Oh, I'm using 2001 DB8 because I'm setting up a network for like a fictional internet service provider. So I need more space, like a larger address space than I have to work with. So that's why I'm using that. Are you redistributing? Please redistribute. 2001 DB8 101:48. Why are you not pulling in that route from BGP? You are there. Okay. So now how do I get you to request a prefix? Okay, what is just the most simple command for this? Debian wiki. What I really want is like the Arch wiki. So the Arch wiki is gonna there we go. Okay. Prefix delegation with DHCP CD. a prefix. Since I'm not using network D, I am using IF up down. Okay, request prefix 1. Okay. So it's going to go to this guy. Taking a bit of a detour here to set up the HTTP client. Oh, this is way more complicated than I was hoping for. I don't actually want to do anything with the prefix. I just want to have it show me what it is. I've been using DHCP6E. DHCP-CD. DHCPCD.com. So I'm trying to get this guy here to act as a DHCP client. You know what I could just do is, instead of using Linux for this, I could just use another RouterOS. So I come here and I make another clone of you. Client 3. I don't know how that works. Okay, client 3 is going to have network on LAN and network on 101 and no cloud in it. Go. Okay, you are my third now. System identity, you're going to be client 3. HTTP client on Ether 2, request address and prefix. Okay, so I got a 56 now. Perfect. And we'll add, not that address, IPv6 address, add from pool, DHCP pool, interface low, and don't advertise. Okay. So now we have you. Okay, so I should be able to ping this thing now from another system. So this has now got a DHCP prefix delegation. So I hop over to this server. It has now automatically created a 56 route. But I wanted it to advertise the 48 route. So let's see what shows up in the third router. So here we have my 64, but nothing else. So why are you not advertising this? So this is a DHCP route. You should be advertising this one, though. I'd like you to advertise this one. Routing filters. BGP, so you're advertising connected and static. So I want to advertise over BGP my 48. That's the pool that makes up the 56 allocation. So I want to essentially be aggregating them. I could just come in here and add DHCP to that. Now it should be advertising this 56. And coming over here, no, I still don't have it. Is your guys' connection okay? Are you happy? The prefix ignore because of the static route advertisement. It should be more specific. So if we go back to router 1, so this is a 48 and this is a 56. So this is my pool and this is the first address out of the pool, the first prefix out of the pool. So So this prefix got given out, but I want to advertise over PGP the whole pool instead of the individual 56s, so my iBGP doesn't get full of stuff. And you should be advertising redistribute. The pool should be advertised via static. Redistribute static, but I'm not sure. You're not up. How do I make you reconnect? I make you restart. This is just loading. Why don't I just restart the whole system? Restart both of them. Why not? So, the TLDR here going on. This is my lab network here. So VLAN 10 is basically for management traffic and Winbox. In theory, they could all talk over it, but I'm not letting them. I got two routers here called Core 1 and Core 2. Each of them is going to have some clients off of it. I've been setting up Core 1 initially, so I want these two guys to BGP to each other. You think a restart doesn't solve it? Let's see. So you're supposed to be there. You're not connected yet. You also have not connected yet. So you guys have not found your OSPF adjacencies yet. There we go. So now we pulled in the OSPF routes. And I believe this is a DHCP. Yeah, okay. So this is on Core 1. So we are now pulled in the OSPF route from the other router. This is from BGP from the other router, and then we should be advertising this one, but not that one. Let's see. This router, P6. Yeah, we're not pulling in. So we're pulling in the other 64, but not the 56. So why not, is the question. So this is static. Active static. You're redistributing static. Is it being filtered? I guess it'd be the next question. So if what happens if I disable the black hole mark? Interesting. So now I'm routing to myself via LO. You think the routing table is different than CLI? I disable black hole. Let's see if that does not change anything on this side. Oh, you're right. I need to select black hole in the template. No, that's not an option here. It should be a static route. Routing table. Routing. Oh, IPv6. Ah, yes. ADAC, so... Oh, I need V6. Print. How do I get v6? So I print detail, but I need it for a different address family. Print where. Okay. So that has come up correctly. Why is this one not being redistributed? Well, it's DHCP. Okay, that makes sense. So I go here and I redistribute DHCP. Then the other one should have my 56, and it doesn't have that either. So why is that not... New terminal... Any input filter on core 2? Let's see. So here in the template is where I have filters selected. I am using output filter the chain, input filter none. No filter. Filter. That's only rejecting 128 routes. I guess I could go by accepting routes instead. So I play with my filters here. Chain action accept. Anything in logs then? Oh, that'd be interesting. Log. It gets me further in time. So logged in via Winbox. ISP changed by TCP. Running BGP template ISP. Okay. Could be more specific in what I redistribute here. Into iBGP. Okay. Okay, so we're only showing, we're only advertising these three. BGP advertisements. No, that's not right, because we're showing a lot more stuff. Oh, we're not doing VXLAN today. Today we're just doing basic iBGP. Actually going to get rid of the IP address family. 56 routes. Okay, I don't think I need this else except here. I think I just want it to fall through my last except rule. So let's add to the chain action except for prefix length 48. And black hole. Actually, we'll get rid of the black hole and just say prefix length 48 except. You're still not showing up. Filter output network. Output selection policy. Routing. You look pretty happy. How do I get you to show? What is BGP? I'm gonna go back to this. So I'm trying to set up a network like a service provider. So in my example, I've got two routers here and two clients, but obviously you have a lot more clients and probably a lot more routers too. And so each of these have like different ranges of addresses, and they need to share their addresses with each other. So BGP I've got set up between these two routers here. I'm trying to share the routes across them so they can get to each other's address space. So BGP is a protocol for sharing those. OSPF is a much simpler protocol for sharing those, but BGP can do a lot more things. So why can I not get you to redistribute? So why do you not want to redistribute? Okay. BGP. Output. Routing protocol reference. routing route. Print detail. Rule routing table. Okay, table. Routing tables. We have the main table. So in Mikrotik, in BGP, I have this template I can configure, and my only options here are I could dump the text config, yeah, do that. Okay, so we got interfaces, Ethernet. We've got a DHCP server, that's to my clients. So this is my downstream side. I think that's correct. I want to advertise this prefix from this pool over BGP instead of the individual assignments. So now I have a router, instance 101. I have a template that accepts v4v6 on my private AS number, named ISP. Filter chain is called the chain, redistribute, connected static, routing table main. So that's my BGP routes. Next up, I've got OSPF. OSPF is routing my loopback addresses between the routers. Where did my BGP connection go? Oh, down here. So BGP connection, AS number, gateway LO from black hole route. Yeah, I can do that. I'm not sure if it'll let me. There we go. No gateway. Did the route show up? No. So back here. So I've got the connection. It is to my peer, which is a 128 address, and that will be found via OSPF. Output filter is the chain. Redistribute connected. Oh, I've got settings in two places. I bet that's what's messing me up. Yeah, that's totally it. So here under connections, I have AFI, I have AS number, and I have redistribute. So I need to inherit those settings from the template and not set them manually. Ah, okay, I bet that was my problem the whole time. Yep, sure was. Then my route came right across. Okay, so I assume my template would update the instance, I guess. Okay, so now my second router has this route to 101.48. So now my third router here, which is a client, by the way, not a core router, has what address? What address do you have? 101.0. So I should be able to ping that from templates used to add the default values. Okay, my appreciation was that templates, if I updated the template, it would update the downstream things. Okay. 101::. Why don't I give you a more specific address? Okay, you are addresses. I see. So I had, because I changed some of those settings, it did not. Slash. What if I make a new virtual interface, which we will call... Why don't I just go to my VM config and give it a real interface? Not you. You. Okay, so client 3, we're going to give it a new Ethernet, which we're going to call, I don't know, ELAN20. That's going to be LAN for the client. So then I can go over here and Ether3, add an address from pool, DHCP pool on interface Ether3, US64, go. Okay. Now your address is this. Ping that now from here. No, why not? Okay, so first hop I hit my own router, which makes sense, and it cannot hit the second one. It's my issue here that, no, I'm hitting the second one. Okay, then it's black hole. Oh, because it hit the black hole. So here you should be hitting a more specific route. It's 56 instead of black holing. Well, can you ping it, I guess? No. Okay. What if we unblack hole you? Unreachable, but that's okay. Where'd my ping go? Come back, ping. Come back. And then, yeah, that helped, okay. So the problem was that the black hole route was black holing, even though the more specific route should have overridden it. Okay. I guess we could just leave it unreachable, just so that it gets advertised. So now if we jump back to the test system and we trace route again, what are you doing? Destination unreachable, no route. From... Why do you have no route? Oh, did I lose my route? Did my route get... Yeah, my route got lost when it was unreachable. Okay, so you actually need to be a black hole. Okay, so you, router, have not DHCP server, DHCP client. Let's renew. Okay, make sure you have a good address pool. Pool, not routes. I guess that works too. Okay. Yeah, BGP is fun stuff. So you have a pool and it's valid. So going back over here, you have a route there and it should be valid. Can the client reach the loopback? That's a good idea. Let's see. The client is this one. Ah, do you not have a default route? Is that my problem? IPv6 route. Oh, you have no default route. Okay, that makes sense. So you need to accept Oh, I need to change my DHCP-v6 server config here. IPv6 DH, nope, not client, server. No. It is because this guy needs to accept RAs from, needs to accept router advertisements from yes on all. Static, non-dynamic. Is it in DHCP6? No, it's DHCP-v6 though. It shouldn't get a route. It should get the route from the router advertisement. Oh, add default route. It's part of RAs in v6. So now, do you have a default route? Yes. Okay. That was my problem all along. So if we come back here, you're pinging fine. We trace route U. For some reason, I have really long times. I don't know why. Maybe the packet got lost or something. Okay. It's working. So my black hole route is still doing fine. That'd be here. You're still a black hole. So I got a black hole. So I'm going to go back to the drawing. Okay, so at the top level we have... So that's my ISP. We got a 2008 DB132. The router loopbacks are out of the first subnet. Oops. On link. So my prefix is 32. I'm using the first 64 for 128s. I'm using the next 48 for on links. That's probably not the best arrangement, but... So I'm using these guys for my prefix pools. So this is everything but the first 48, and that is doing pretty good, I guess. Oh, was it complaining about DNS? Yeah, there's not going to be reverse DNS going on here. Yeah, okay. Not sure why he was trying to, or well, makes sense. He was trying to reverse DNS. Okay. It is magic. Okay, so this is what we got set up now. We have BGP going between these two routers. OSPF is doing the underlay. So the underlay is the loopback addresses between the routers to each other. So this guy and this guy find each other via OSPF. So then I have the on-link subnets, which are each 64s. In this case, I got these two. Then I've got the prefix delegation subnets, which I'm advertising as a 48 because I'm giving out 56s. In a real setup, I'd probably be advertising like 40s or something like that, however big the BNG is. So that's these guys. So now I want to add another one. Oops. That will be, I guess, like an edge. We'll call him edge 4 just to avoid any confusion here. So he's going to speak here, and he's going to speak here. And then he's going to speak to DFC. Well, actually, let me look back at my goal of what I was going to do. So I wanted to do an ISP type setup. I did that. I did full mesh. Then I should route reflect, shouldn't I? Should I do route reflectors now, or should I do full table? What do you think? I'll let you guys vote in the comments. Route reflect. Okay. should I use, now the next question in the comments. Should the route reflector be which of these? Some of these are better than others, I know. Okay, RouterOS. So I need... I'm not a big FRR fan. I know it's very popular, but it's troubling sometimes to work with. Okay, so we need more RouterOS. Good thing we can just keep cloning the VM. We're going to call this guy RR1. RR1. So he is going to need to be... I guess he can be on a broadcast network with the other guys. So if we go up here, we're going to, oops. There's RR1. He's going to share this same VLAN 100. Just for simplicity, so I don't have to full mesh him. Okay, so his network device is initially going to be on VLAN 10, on LAN. Then I need another network device that's on VLAN 100, which is our backbone, and that's it. So now I need a new inbox again. Winbox, okay, which one does not have a name yet? That one. They're going to be called RR1. Be a route reflector. Do they have like an app note for me? And more winbox, yep. Okay, so we're going to need a loopback for the route reflector. It's going to be 10. I guess I'll make it 201/128. We need add OSPF. Instances main version 3. Area. You need a router ID. Interface templates. Interface hello area 1 passive. Then interface either 2 area 1 broadcast. Okay, now do your routes come up? Please. Okay, yeah, you came up. So now I got my loopbacks popping up. Excellent. And now I need BGP. BGP instance. Main, routing table main. Router ID 201 AS 64512. Okay. Templates. AS 64512. PFI v4 v6 extra so I have no filter. Core 1 template ISP remote address 2.1 local role route reflector. Okay, and another one. 2 from the same template 102, and we are again a route reflector. So then if I go back here to these guys, they're going to need to change their behavior to connect with our R1 instead. Okay, you come up. You have. And now this one also needs to change its behavior to peer with the route reflector instead. And you're going to 201. Okay, so how's your routing table coming? Looks like my 48 came in. BGP, if I look at my route reflector, it has plenty of routes to reflect. What is your next hop going to be in this case? So your next hop is 102. Okay, that's correct. Hold on a second, my cat's calling me. Hello. Yes, route reflectors don't change next hops. I was just making sure that they weren't getting changed. So now I should be able to go back to my test system and trace again, and it works fine. Perfect. So next up, so this is working now. So next I think I need an edge router. And the edge router is going to be connected to the DFZ. And this is again going to be connected to my backbone here. So we do BGP there. We do BGP there. We do BGP here. And we do BGP here. So this should become a default route. So I would like the edge router to advertise itself a default free zone. So in the DFZ, we do not have default routes. So the default free zone, every single route on the internet has to be independent. It can't be just a default. But as someone who, if you're running a network, you eventually probably want to have defaults in your network. So I could continue operating my network as a default free zone and have massive routing tables everywhere. Or what I'm probably going to do in this case is have a transit provider here. We'll call this transit. So we have transit to a transit ISP. They're giving me full table here. So this router has full table. And this router turns around and instead of re-advertising those routes, it advertises a single default route down here so that these guys get default routes out to the internet. Stop it. So to do this, I'm going to need to simulate the default router. And I'm going to need another Mikrotik router here to be my edge router. And yeah. Sound reasonable? So here we're going to make a new, should I do a container or a VM? I'm going to do a container. I'm called Transit 5. Hopefully I remember all these passwords. We're doing Go. We can do Alpine, right? Might need more than 2 cores. We'll say 4 cores. Definitely gonna need more memory than this. Try 4 gigs of memory. DHCP only, and you're gonna sit on. We'll start you on LAN, I guess. Can you summarize what the goal is? Yeah, I do this every so often. So I created this goal here. My goal is to set up like ISP network. So initially, I linked the routers via loopback addresses via OSPF v3. So now the routers can talk to each other. We didn't do static. We did OSPF. Then we did iBGP in a full mesh, but we only had 2 routers, so full mesh wasn't hard. But full mesh doesn't scale, of course, so then we needed a route reflector. So we did that. And next up, we're going to be setting up... No, we're going to do eBGP full table, and then we're going to add that to our setup. So in my diagram here, I've got these 2 routers, which are my hypothetical service provider routers. They're connected downstream to a hypothetical clients. They're connected to a route reflector now, so everything within the network can talk to each other just fine. But we don't have any link to the internet. So the next steps are we're going to simulate the internet and the edge router, and then we're going to get that linked in. VPN, yeah, VPN is like eVPN. I am not going to do today. I know it's a deal, but okay, so we've got an Alpine system now. Where did it go? Transit 5. Okay, so what I want to do is yeah, L2VPN MPLS based, or SRv6 based too. What I want to do is load an MRT dump into GoBGP. So I have heard from people that trying to simulate the full table with FRR will cause it to crash because it is not designed to be efficient when handling like manually injected routes. So I will go to RIPE here. RIPE has backups of the global routing table. I can then go here and pick a router. If any of you guys have a favorite router on the list, feel free to comment it. So I don't want to do a multi-hop, I want to do an IXP. So London, Amsterdam, Geneva, Vienna, Japan, Stockholm, Milan, New York, Frankfurt, Moscow, Palo Alto, Sao Paulo, Miami, Barcelona, Johannesburg, Zurich, Paris, Bucharest, Singapore. Which one is the orange one? None of them are orange. Are they? Paris. Is there more than one? There's one Paris. Okay, so RRC 21. So now I need one of these files, probably a recent file. Latest bview. Jesus, 211. Well, no, that makes sense. 211 meg. Okay. Oh, orange is the ISP. Which one's run by orange? None of them are. I don't think. So, latest bview.gz. We need to download that. So if I come over here to my system, can you download that? Yay, RIPE supports IPv6. Okay, so we got latest bview.gz. So this is what we're going to import into GoBGP. So now we need to get GoBGP to load that file. So GoBGP MRT inject. I believe that's what I have to do. I have someone else's example here. So they're using eBGP. Where was the one? I found an example using GoBGP. It's probably this one. So I need to GoBGP config. So why don't I also create the VM that's going to run full table, which is again RouterOS. It'll come up on the desk. Edge 4. Edge 4 is being created, no cloud in it. And we need the .100, and you're going to be on LAN. Okay. So I'm not going to peer the edge router with the route reflector just yet. I think this is the one I want. So I guess I'll just change the name and then leave it here. Identity is going to be H4. Create an address on Ether1 for peering. An interface Ether 2. Okay. No advertise. Oh, you're supposed to be 64, not 54. Okay, so this is going to be my peering network, and then I'll need one more. You're going to be on 99. Yeah, 54 was a typo. I fixed it. Okay, so this is going to be my peering subnet. So this will be on link instead of OSPF routed. So this guy will be ready when BGP comes. So BGP instance, main routing table, main router ID is going to be 4 AS is going to be 64512. And we'll, I guess I'll just create a new connection here. Peering AS FI. Address will be Going to be an EGP, eBGP, just eBGP. Oh, this is Winbox. It's just for configuring Mikrotik stuff. Okay, so you're going to come up eventually. So now we got to set up GoBGP. So I got you. I need reading, following someone else's example. Get started with GoBGP. Okay, running GoBGP. First I need GoBGP, but it's Go. So there should just be like a static binary here. I'm on AMD64. So we'll get that binary. Okay, now we got GoBGP, and we got the latest BView. Since Go is a static binary, it is just incredibly easy to install. Love that for it. Okay, so I need to config. Just gonna put it in this folder. No, GitHub didn't work with v6. It's 464xlat, .64. Okay, so we can't be 64.5.12 because that's my AS. We're going to be 64.5.13. My router ID is going to be 1.1. Your AS is going to be 64.5.12. Neighbor address is 104. You need a second Ethernet link to, yes, okay, so my route reflector, not my route reflector, my simulated client, my transit ISP, needs at least one to connect directly to, and yep, there we go. Actually, we'll set you static. There we go, you're 99. Okay, what else do I need for GoBGP? GoBGP MR inject, T inject. Yes, okay. GoBGP D F conf. Okay. Let's try it, see how it works. I need a new terminal session. I'm on the real fake terminal here. That's my IP. I'll come at it from a different direction. Team, I could do that, but I'd rather just SSH into it. APK add OpenSSH. Okay, now we should have SSH. Now the password. Okay, why are you not happy? Oh, because I can't SSH as root. There we go. Okay, so on the yellow terminal, I'm going to run, I guess on the black terminal, we'll run GoBGP. So this is GoBGP f gobgpd.conf. Okay, okay, so it appears up. We'll just let this guy chill, and then we can run the GoBGP. What are my commands? Status. Okay, you're up. Nice. So now, can I import the MRT? Which I should be able to just do with annoying. Let's see how this goes. I'm not actually sure if it expects a gzip file or what. Maybe I need another. I don't know. That's what we're going to figure out here. Okay, so now we get that guy. GoBGP monitor. It's like a... Are we going wild on memory yet? Well, yeah, pretty much. GoBGP monitor neighbor. What the fuck is wrong with you? GoBGP might be a little bit unhappy with me, actually. We flip back over to Proxmox. What are you doing? Oh, you've run out of memory. How about we give you... more memory. You're more scared about RouterOS. We'll see when we get there. Okay, this seems to have locked up. And that seems to have locked up. And okay. So now that we have more memory, can we again launch U? Okay. So peer is now up. Now if I say monitor neighbor, what do I get? I get nothing. So GoBGP, what I really want is to know global. Like basic status. Oh, prints changes. Okay. So then we'll go back here and we'll try to, again, should I untar the gzip? Okay, first we'll let so why not Bird? So I did some research beforehand, and apparently GoBGP is particularly good at dealing with these route exports, especially compared to FRR, but also compared to Bird. Okay, so now that we decompress, do we want to know how big the file is? It is bytes. Jesus, that is big. Okay. 2.3 gigs. Okay, so now you should be injecting. Which means not over there, over here, you should be pulling in routes. And you're not. We'll figure this out. So you're injecting. You are not doing anything. What is the daemon doing? Daemon's not doing anything. Okay, so I need to read more about GoBGP MRT. It should contain both full tables. Actually, why don't I go here to this one? Okay, inject, overwrite next top with self. Should do that, shouldn't I? Only best paths, yes. Okay, so I want to inject. Okay, inject global. Latest view. No IPv4. Only best. Actually, what's my own IP? Use my own IP as next top. We want to only best, and we want to next top. Own IP. Does that seem right? We should only be doing V6s, only best routes. Maybe not very helpful. Let's try that. Might be the one I read. Okay, so he created a policy to overwrite next hop with himself, which makes sense. No BGP summary. He just did GoBGP MRT inject. Oh, yep, here they come. Yep, we got routes coming in. How big is our routing table? Okay. So it's just taking a while to update. Can I, like, maybe from the terminal, ask, like, how big is my routing table? I don't want to, like, print, but I want, like to know how many routes the table has. Routing tables, main. 26K routes? Should be 126,000, shouldn't it? Let's see, what does it say here? That doesn't say anything. I don't need VPN subtype 259. Okay, so that's count as at the bottom of the list in the UI. Okay, that makes sense. IPv6 routes. Okay, they're still coming in. 43,962. Unless that's all I got. There should be more than that. This got mad at some point. Guess I could try it again. But hopefully we don't have duplicates. Oops. Not you guys. Yeah, we still have some more. $45,190. Okay, 45,194. How much RAM is Ross using in the hypervisor? I don't know if the hypervisor will actually show me. Down here it says it's using 341 megabytes. I'm only doing the V6 full table, not the V4 full table, and it's like 1/10 the size of the V4 table. So Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. So now I'm going to create a route to myself. Yeah, 0/0 on loopback. Okay, so now I have a default route to myself. Where did you get that from? Why is that coming over BGP? It should not be right. So what I should have is a black hole route to everything, to my edge router. So if we go back to the diagram here, so this should be a shitload of routes here. I don't want to advertise all of my default free zone routes down into these routers down here. So I want to create a new route that is here. So I want to create a default route that I then advertise down here. So then if I have some CDNs or something, I can propagate just their more specific routes. GoBGP advertise the default route. Is there any way to show... well, maybe I should just read GoBGP docs. GoBGP global RIP, okay. GoBGP global is the command I want. Did the import crash again? Okay, so the import has this problem with some unknown EVPN subtype. Failed to parse. So it's not importing the full table there. And then over here, can I just say global rib? Maybe I did not want to do that. Let's see. I may regret this. Okay, let's see what it printed. It's still thinking about it. Okay. PKS servers, BMP servers, VRFs, neighbors. Yeah, I thought GoBGP actually couldn't do any local routing. It was just like it doesn't configure the kernel. Okay, so this is freaked out. Did I crash the server doing that? Let's see. Yep, we got out of memory killed. So we need more memory for BGP. What is the server at now? Okay, we can handle some more memory for transit router. Give you 12 gigs. Let's try that again. So now our peering came up, so now I can go in and load the, not that one. Oops. Load that again. So that's now going. So now can I go over here and ask it for the size of the rib? Network not in table. Okay, so we currently have nothing in the table that you were supposed to be adding to the table. You have to wait for it to finish. Okay. Should we add the v4 table too? No, we're going to do v6 only. Oh, while this adds, I'm going to go pee. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. There we go. So it is just a parsing error, so it is actually importing everything still. If I pop back over here and I ask it now, I still have nothing? What the hell? Did it crash again? No. Do you have routes again? Oh, you do have routes. Okay, we're importing them very slowly. Let's see what we end up at. We're not out of memory yet. It could be because I'm using only a best that I get less than 250K. I don't know. Maybe it would only combine them if they have the same next hop. Network not in table. Monitor neighbor. Should we watch mem? Well, I mean, it's not small. So this finished, so the route inject completed. And over here in my router, I'm getting the routing table coming in. We also haven't run out of memory yet on RouterOS. Yeah, so RouterOS memory is actually just doing just fine. How is it using more than 8 gig of memory? My guess is that it's keeping multiple copies of the table for different reasons. Also, probably because I asked it a question and had to turn that data structure into global. Yeah, Linux will simplify the routing table. Mikrotik will actually, well, the rib still has to be the full table because you have to pass on all those routes as they are. But in hardware, or in the fib, Mikrotik will simplify it to combine everything with the same next hop. So since all of these have the same next hop, they should all aggregate, and the duplicates will disappear. So when Mikrotik pushes routes into hardware, they do that as well. So like all of these /32s here are all sequential, or like this, etc. They can all be aggregated in hardware. I think they're just using a normal tree structure like Linux does. The other thing Mikrotik does is, for some reason, they have a lot more data storage in the ASIC per next hop. So they mentioned in one of their app notes, if you create a default route, then any of the routes that go to that same next hop will take a lot less space in hardware. So they recommend for peering routers like this to set a default route to the peer, so that your hardware tables take up way less space. Okay, so we're coming up on 135,000, yeah. So I just want to redistribute this one route here over BGP to the other direction. BGP, so that instance. So we'll create a new template called R. AS is going to be 64512. Route address. It's 201, I think, is that? Local role is going to be iBGP. I want next hop self. I could push this route. No, I should be doing next hop self. Next hop choice for self. Extra redistribute static. Okay, let's see how bad it is. I have two of them. Oops. The UI is kind of laggy now. Okay, so I've got an iBGP peer set up now to the route reflector. So is it up? Does not appear to be up. Oh, it's just taking a long time. Oh, the route reflector needs to add a corresponding session. This is the route reflector. Routing BGP. New page 4. You are 2001 DD8 104. I think you're 104. Local role route reflector. I think that will work. Are you 104? Let's see, is this guy doing OSPF? Routing OSPF. No, okay, you gotta be OSPF as well. Your router 104. We redistribute nothing. Okay, maybe if I close the huge table, it won't be so bad. Interface templates. So on interface LO, we're going to be passive. And on interface ether, which one's which? Ether 3. We're going to do broadcast. And we need an address on hello. Okay, so this one, 2001 DB8104, should get pushed out to everyone over OSPF. And you have now found them. So now the routing table is going to cry. Why don't I go to someone else's routing table? So route reflectors routing table. Oh, you're up. Why are you importing 3713 prefixes? Jesus Christ, you do not want to do that. Local ID. No, 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 no. That's too many prefixes. Stop it. You are supposed to be only redistributing yeah, okay, so connections, route reflector, you're only supposed to, oh, I see what you're doing. I need a filter for you. Just routing filters. QRR, except if prefix length is 0. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so now in routing BGP, you need a filter on the output to route reflector. Output filter 2RR apply. Object doesn't exist. What do you mean object doesn't exist? Routing filters. 2. I do want it to be in the same instance because I want to be able to use the filters to forward some routes across. But okay, here's our final number, 193,986. Winbox is crying. Why do I not have my OSPF routes, though? Routing OSPF. So you're here. Why are you two-way? Maybe disable the instance temporarily. Areas, base templates. So why are you guys not finding my... Nope, not that routing table. So here on this routing table, I should have the... No, oh God. Okay. Turn off this peer. To disable you. Object doesn't exist. I'm going to try doubling the memory on this system and see if that helps. I'm also going to shut it down. Then go here. Yeah, I could reboot, but I can't add memory without shutting it down. Disable it in connections. Okay, come on, connect. Okay. Okay, you are now disabled, so I'm peering with the route reflector, but not with... Okay, so OSPF routes are coming in now. There we go. So these are BGP routes that are coming in from iBGP, which makes sense. So now I should have my own loopback. Okay. So now is the BGP session here happy? It looks like it is. So now I need to add a filter to you to only... Okay, that seems happy. Now if I turn on your... So now the filter should only be passing through routes with a length of 0. I think. So let's see what my routing table looks like. 14. Not bad. What does GoBGP say? GoBGP is still running, I think. I don't think it crashed. I wonder if it's giving me summary because looking at the AFI IP table instead of IPv6. I don't know how I... Address family, okay. Address family string do you want? 26. There we go, okay. 243,000 destinations. Okay, it wants A6. Oh, yep, here they come. Here they come. Okay, so now that is on my CHR with significantly more memory. So I'm only using... Ooh, I have a terrible idea. How much RAM does the new hex have? Hex S 2025. 512 megabytes of RAM. That might be enough for full table v6. Okay, so they're coming up. I'm still using less than 512 meg. So should I get a hex S? So I have a hex S, the older one. It only has 256 meg, so I would not be able to do full table v6. Also, the v6 table is smaller than the v4 table. Should I import the v4 table as well? Do we do v4 here today, or do we not do v4? The v6 table is smaller, so. Okay, so this guy is importing. He's happy. How about the route reflector? Okay, so now I don't have a default now. So I need you to be pushing the default, and you're not pushing the default. Why? This one, it's a black hole. Sorry, has no gateway. Okay, so now I have this route, which has no gateway. I want to push that over BGP. It's not coming. Default originate in BGP. IPv routing, BGP. Yep, you're right. So I have set that to always on that router specifically. Okay, so now we have default via 2001 DB8104. So now in theory, if I go to one of my Linux test systems, so like this one, okay, so it has next hop selfed itself. So on the route reflector, I'm getting default. Oh, is that not getting propagated? No, it's not. The route reflector is not reflecting it. System, routing, BGP. Yeah, so why is the route reflector not redistributing the default? It's an instance setting. Let's see. No, it doesn't look like it's an instance setting. Okay, so let's see. I changed that. Now do I have a default? Now I have a default. Okay. So now if I go here, I should be able to trace route to my edge router. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So I hit my... So I am... Back in my network drawing. I am here. I trace route to the internet. My first hop is this router, my second hop is this router, and then that's where I end. So this router doesn't actually have connection to the internet. Yeah, it makes sense. I guess I could do default via OSPF instead in this case. No, this seems correct, though. Now, the reason for distributing the default is so I don't have this routing table coming down to these two routers here. If these guys could handle full table, then they could handle full table. So that's why we have default coming up here. It also makes sense that you wouldn't want to propagate it, but in the case of a route reflector, that would make sense. No, it's not that ROS doesn't allow it, it's that it by default blocks it. So there's a config to allow default routes to be propagated. Okay, so this is happening. What else can I do now? I go back to my goals. So I got my ISP set up. I got my OSPF v3. I got iBGP, got route reflector, then I did eBGP. So how would you handle the default route usually? Would you do full tables throughout your whole network, or would you do like a couple aggregates or something? I guess you could do like 2001::3 as a route instead of a default. You probably would aggregate, wouldn't you, instead of default? Using MPLS, okay. So what else do I have? I don't think I have anything else I need to do today. So I got full table eBGP. I could turn on before full tables and see what that does. We're going to stick with one route reflector today. Currently we have no v4 table. We actually have no v4 addresses whatsoever on anything. Yeah, so in this case I have a single uplink. So in this case it would make sense to do default because I only have one uplink. And I think that would still be the case as long as you only have one transit uplink. So if you had like peerings with CDNs, those can be more specific routes, but you can still have a default to your transit. But then once you do, once you have multiple transits and you're doing transit yourself, then it makes sense to do full tables probably. Whole BGP network was just default free. Okay, so that's an option. So in my example here, I have one transit. So it would make sense for me to default. That way these guys aren't crying. Slowly loading in the full table here. Let's see 5549. Which one is that? Oh yeah. Let's do that. So back in GoBGP, I need to import the whole table, but this time import the whole thing. No, I really shouldn't, I don't think, GoBGP. Let's see if the... Okay, they're coming in. So now how about you? I have IPv4 routes coming in. No. You have a DHCP client going on, don't you? Get out of here. We don't need IPv4. Came in over DHCP. What did I set your address family to? So you're an instance. You're a AFI v4 v6. And you should also be an AFI v4 and v6. Okay, we're getting up there, and how do I get GoBGP to show me like some routes? Do I just have to inspect for a specific? Size of temporary buffer and server memory. Yeah, so community on its own is just a number that gets assigned to a BGP route. So it only has meaning when someone has written a filter somewhere to do some action based on the community existing. So if a community does a black hole, that means that some router somewhere treats that community as special. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Did you crash? Oh, Jesus. Stop it. Maybe if I... give you some more space. Oh, I also want a... So this, you can limit how much memory the server can use to do your response. So like when the server hits that much memory, it'll start sending data back. Because otherwise it uses like a shitload of memory trying to dump the entire table as a string. Okay, so now that thinks about life. You should start seeing v4 routes coming in, and you don't. Is it my GoBGP config that's bad? Yeah, okay, so GoBGP is doing next hop self. Do I have to set... you have multiple address families? Let's read the GoBGP docs. I have to add SAFI, neighbors, AFI, SAFI. Do I have to add this to v4 unicast, v6 unicast? Yeah, so we should only be doing, well, we should be doing two. We should be doing v6 unicast and v4 unicast, but are they enabled by default? In GoBGP? It looks like I probably should add neighbors, neighbor config, neighbor SAFIs. Selected it with a peer group. Unicast IPv4 flow spec. So I guess we will sorry, everyone. Is the AFI enabled in the ROS config? It should be. So here I have it enabled. Yeah. So why is GoBGP not doing it? We'll restart GoBGP. Then we will again reload the whole fucking table. MRT inject. Then you should have v6 routes coming in eventually. Oh, please don't crash. Yeah, so it picked remote AFI of v6 instead of both. Yeah, so remote AFI, IP, IPv6. So so the remote is advertising it only supports v6. So I need to change a config in GoBGP. Okay, what was the config option then in GoBGP? It was tier group. Okay. Okay, no, that didn't work. Okay, so what is the correct syntax for GoBGP to enable both of these? Neighbors. Tier AS. What the hell did I do? Just a chance that works. We locked it up. Okay, did you come up on this side? Your mode AFI is still just v6. Is it a syntax error somewhere? Oh, they're both in the same thing, I think. Does that look right? Neighbors AFI Safis. Oh, I need both of those. Okay. Tamil is a stupid language. Why can you not... Why are you doing v6 only in remote? Hello. Mm-hmm. I think I might be nearing the end of this adventure for today. So I was able to get this guy doing full tables here. I guess I could reflect them if I wanted to do that. But it seems like everything else is working, except for the ROS logs. Sure, we can look at the ROS logs. Hearing established. Title. Peer deconfigured. I don't see anything in logs. So I think that is probably going to be the end of today. So we got everything I wanted to get done working. So, yay. Need a better address plan next time, I guess. So we got eBGP full table, IPv6, imported. One thing I think would be cool would be to translate v4 prefixes into v6 prefixes at the routing level. So like, for example, if I had like, I don't know, I'll use this purple router as Taiga. You need to be white. So I had like Taiga here, or something more performant. I could have this at several points on my network. So like if I had more edge routers, and each of them could do v4 to v6, then I could have all of my v4 routes translated into v6 routes, which I think would be cool. But not for today. But yes, this was fun. So I've got the lab going. Back when I get back to Finland, I'm hoping to set up the OLT again and start doing some more labbing with that. I don't think my CRS 305 can do full table. Let's see how much RAM that has. So I have a hardware switches CRS 305. And I think it has 256 meg of RAM. 512 meg of RAM. Ooh, should we try to do hardware BGP? I think well, I don't know if they can do it or not, but it was more, but yeah, okay. So I should probably head out then. Thanks for coming, everyone. I had plenty of viewers the whole time. Hopefully you guys have been enjoyed. Yeah, the level 3 hardware tables is quite small, but I think if they aggregate, it will be fine. Time for CCR, maybe time for CCR. I'll have to ask the Mikrotik guys, I guess. I was going to ask them for their latest like 6 gigahertz router, though, for Finland. I thought that would be a great thing to look at. Filter out half and a default route. Yeah. So my hope for the ISP network is basically this would be a default route. And then if I simulate like a peering with like a CDN. So if I simulate like a CDN, I can pull in prefixes from the CDN here that'll override the default route, but still have most of it be default. And as long as you have only one transit, that seems like it'd be fine. Yes, Mikrotik is the best. They're also from Latvia, which is not that far from where I am in Finland. I actually asked if I could come visit them in Riga, but unfortunately my schedule this summer was too busy and I had to come back to the US to get my residence permit. But now that I'm there, a vacation to Riga is definitely on my to-do list. It also helps that Riga is a pretty cheap vacation place for people in Europe, so actually, yeah, so I'll ask them what they think about that. But that's my plan for continuing this lab going forward. So somewhere in here would be my OLT for the fiber network. This router would probably be my CRS 305, or this could be a BNG that I set up as a virtual machine. And then the route reflector, core routers, etc. would all be part of my test setup. So I've got some fiber equipment coming, sort of an odd variety of fiber stuff that I'm playing. Yeah, Wi-Fi. Yeah, so I saw someone leaked a data sheet of their Wi-Fi 7 router, and it does 6 gigahertz. So they're just skipping over Wi-Fi 6E, I think, entirely. All I know is that Paris is expensive. Yes, Paris is expensive, but Riga is not that expensive. So, and I have a beautiful statue, too. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. This one. In Riga. So maybe I'll go visit that someday. But, yep, so see you guys. I'll probably have some different kinds of videos till the end of the year. Not the usual stuff, but I'll be back to making normal videos in January. So, bye.